Hello and welcome to today's video, where today we're going to be talking about Etemmode, what it is, what it does, and how you can utilize it across every version of the Fable games. So with that out of the way, what exactly is Etemmode? Etemmode is a way of making the game's scripts simply stop. Any scripted sequence won't be triggered while in this mode, and this can be done in a wide variety of ways, but very few are actually useful for speedrunning, or actually doing much with the game in general. The main one you'll be hearing about today is Etemmode V3, which is actually useful for getting to Bowerstone North as soon as you've defeated the Wasp Queen, which can be useful if you're just playing the game, or if you're speedrunning the game. I'll be showing how to do this across each version of the game, but how does it work and why does it work first? From what I've been able to work out, Fable in all its iterations from the original all the way through to the latest version of Anniversary utilizes scripts. Now, different scripts control different things. You have scripts in warp zones which tell the game to load a new area, as they're a path to that new area. The game will also have scripts with characters that will trigger cutscenes and can also prevent you accessing certain areas. You have scripts that control the inventory, telling the game to pause while you update your weapons and armor in real time. Which is how you're meant to be able to do it. You don't want the game to continue when you're changing your weapons and armor around. Then you have other minor scripts, the things like UI elements, like dialogue, trophies, or even fishing, which are all sort of mini UI based mini-games. Now this is what makes the exploit possible, how the games deal with all these scripts. Each of these scripts are held at different priorities to the game. The order to the game goes at the very top: unskippable cutscene triggers. These are more of a thing in Anniversary, but do hold maximum priority as you aren't meant to be able to skip them. The inventory system, which has the priority to pause the game, and will pause all scripts while you swap weapons or items. You don't want the game to carry on while you're trying to change your inventory around. Warp zones, which carry you to other areas, or pretty much any other area in the game, should allow the character to travel to the area it was meant to. They need to function. Below that you have characters and their specific scripts. Think maybe the maze fight or thunder fight, anything along those lines where a character has a phase that's maybe triggered by damage, or something very minor. The same holds true for any non-standard NPC, the child who follows you around Bowerstone, most traders, or even guards who prevent you from going to Bowerstone North. Yes, I will be saying that a lot. Finally, at the bottom tier you have things like digging, fishing and trophies, which don't actually have all too much of an effect on the overall game while they're active, but do have a UI element involved which allows for all of their custom actions to be achieved, which is, as you guessed it, triggered by a low tier script. So what does this all mean? Well, when the game is running normally, everything sails along smoothly. You can't interrupt any of the other scripts with the order they're in, the same way that you can't stop a cutscene from triggering with a shovel. Or another example, a character isn't going to be able to stop you from triggering a warp zone, asking you if you want to go through it, or maybe reload the quest, things like that. But what would happen if this order got interrupted? Well, that's what Etemmode actually is. See, if we trigger Etemmode by utilizing a trophy, it brings up its own UI elements, and forces the world into a sort of mini-game. However, this still has fairly low priority, it doesn't let you do anything by itself. But when we travel to a warp zone, by spamming the inventory button the moment we hit the warp zone, the UI for the trophy gets priority just below the inventory, which places the importance of this script above every other type of script, essentially making the world a sandbox where no scripts are able to be loaded the entire time the trophy UI is present. And by saving and loading a save at this time, on the PC version at least, and the Xbox version of Anniversary, you can save scripts like this, allowing you as much time as you want in this weird Etemmode sandbox. The moment you re-enable the trophy though, priority is set back to the bottom, and the world functions as normal, warping you back to the zone that you would have previously travelled to with where you enabled Etemmode. In the shortest terms possible, you are able to pause the scripts for everything going on, which can lead to some rather comical moments. For example, both Maze and Thunder can be found in Bowerstone South, and when attacked are programmed to fight back much like their respective boss battles, and this can be triggered within Bowerstone for very comical results. While under these effects though, shopkeepers, dialogue and most interactable gameplay elements just won't work, the game is sort of paused. So with all the technical details out of the way, what is going to be the main use of this? Why would people want to do this? Well, as I started this video, to get to Bowerstone North early. So I'll now show you how to do this in every single version of the game, on controller, keyboard, you name it, it's probably in this video. Enjoy. Right, so this is the Lost Chapters version of Fable on the PC, the one that most people are going to be playing, and probably the most common speedrun version of the game, and I'm going to show you how to enter Etemmode on this version of the game first. So if you go up to Inventory, then if you go to Items, Trophies, and really most people are going to be doing this after the Wasp Queen Quest, so we want to drag that down to our menu, and then what we're going to do is enter Trophy Mode by pushing 2 on the hotbar, or whatever you've actually decided to assign it to. From here, if you push yes, we want to run straight at the doors while also spamming the inventory button, which is down as escape. So watch what I do with my fingers as we enter the warp zone. As you can see, we've gone straight past the warp zone, and we have now entered Etemmode. All scripts are disabled. Now, we can utilize the trophy to buy some more time, which is what I'm going to do here, which can be useful. You can also load and save the game to buy a bit more time, but we should be okay with the time we've got here. So we want to move the guard straight out of the way. I tend to just stick him over here in this corner, because that tends to work well, and means that he will be out of the way for when you run out of time. So what we'll now do is we'll go back to Lookout Point, which is the warp zone that we entered, and now we run straight back in. From here we should be able to enter Bowerstone North. That's because the game's scripts were unloaded when we moved things around, so that now as we run up here, things should work the way we want them to. So there you go. That worked perfectly fine. The main thing is, you want to just be spamming the escape button. You can do it frame precise, and that will work and probably save you a bit of time, but this is sort of the easiest way to achieve that. So that is how you achieve Etemmode on Fable The Lost Chapters on the PC version of the game. So you join me with Fable Anniversary on PC, and what you're going to want to do is assign the Wasp Queen's head or some sort of trophy to your hotbar, and I've already assigned the Wasp Queen's head down there, and then you're going to want to enter Trophy Mode, so I'm going to select yes here. Now as we run towards the door, this is a bit harder than the Lost Chapters, and we just want to spam the F key to open and close the inventory as we get through. Now we've entered Etemmode, and we can now run straight on our way here to move the guard out of the way. I am just going to show off the trophy a little bit so that we have a bit more time, because really we will run out of time otherwise. So let me just show this off to a few people. Nice. And now we can move the guard out of the way. Fortunately, the guard has already decided he wants to hang out down here, so we can just move him out of the way somewhere, just as far away as we can. And that will allow us to enter Bowerstone North. Really, as long as the guard's away from the gates, you should be alright. Sometimes he does tend to have a little walk down. I don't know why, he just decides he wants to sometimes. So we'll just stick him over here, out of the way, and then we will cancel Etemmode by using 3. That'll spawn us back to Lookout Point. Now all we have to do is go straight back through, and we'll be on our way. So wait for it to load in, and now we just want to roll all of our way up here. I'm just rolling on through, and now we can enter Bowerstone North. So that is how you do it on Anniversary. It's very similar to the Lost Chapters, but I do tend to start spamming the inventory ever so slightly earlier on Anniversary, as I don't think the menus are quite as smooth as they are on the Lost Chapters. So I hope that's been helpful, and I'll now cut to the console version to show you how to do it on there. Hello, so you join me over on Fable Anniversary on the Xbox 360, because I just want to show you that this does work absolutely fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up to Items, we're going to go up to Trophies, and we're going to assign the Wasp Queen head to somewhere on our D-pad. So I've selected left on the D-pad. Now what we want to do is go over and select the Wasp Queen head, and this is the trickiest version of the game to do it on, as you have to be sort of frame precise as you enter the warp zone, but I'm going to show you what you have to do. You have to push the back button just as you step over the threshold of the door, as you can't spam the inventory in this version like you can on the original Xbox and on the PC, at least on TLC PC. So here we're going to push yes, and we're going to run towards the door, and the moment we hit the threshold, push back. And as you can see there, I failed, so I'm going to have to try again. Right, so you join me for attempt number 2, because this is rather tricky, and it is just about getting that frame precise movement and pushing back at the right time. So let's try again. Oh, I think that might have been it. Yep, there we go. That was the frame precise input you need just as you cross the threshold on the door, and we'll now speak to everyone, or at least do the trophy mini game, because that's the most we can do. And we're just going to push the guard out of the way up here so that we can get into Bowerstone. Ooh, there we go. I think that should be just over enough, so let's find out if that was enough. You can save and load, as I mentioned, because that does work in this version of the game. It is the only console version of Fable where you can save and load and have an infinite amount of time in Etemmode. That doesn't work on the original Xbox. That is entirely unique to Anniversary on the 360, Xbox One, and Xbox One X. All versions of the game have the glitch intact and working, but it is the most difficult version of the game to achieve Etemmode in, because the menus are slower, and everything's just all in all a bit more laggy compared to the PC version. So anyway, we'll see if that was a far enough movement over to go up to Bowerstone North. It might not have been, but it might have, so we'll see. No, it was enough. There we go. So now we can enter Bowerstone North. So that is the hardest version of the game to do it in. It took me 2 attempts there to do it, unlike every other version of the game where I got it first try, but it's about getting your foot just across the gate and then rapidly hitting that back button to get the fade out to the inventory. So let's move away from this horrible, horrible version of the game.
Hello, so you join me over on the Xbox version of Fable, and this is the same for Fable and Fable The Lost Chapters on the Xbox console. So what you're going to want to do is go Items, and then you'll want to go up to Trophies, and equip the Wasp Queen head to any of the D-pad directions. All of them work fine. So I've got mine assigned to left on the D-pad, and I'm now going to use it. From here I'm going to push yes, and then I'm going to run straight at the gates and hit back on my controller. From here I can walk forward and keep going back, the same way I did on PC, but with the Xbox menus, and then we are now in Etemmode. But we can't load and save for more time, so you might want to be quite wary of that timer. You can of course do the minigame to buy extra time like I'm doing there, and now we just want to move the guard out of the way so we can access Bowerstone North. Now, I found Xbox to be a little bit more finicky, but he is usually okay as long as you keep him over here pegged right in the corner. See, he can't get out at all. So as long as we keep him there, wait for the time to go down, we should be able to go back to Lookout Point and then get into Bowerstone North. Now I will do a quick segment showing you how to do this with the controller, filming the screen, as it is a little bit more precise to do it on console than it is on the desktop. It's also easier if I show you in real time, filming both the controller and the console screen, just to give you an idea of what you'll have to be doing, as you do have to hold the controller in a bit of a funny way if you want to do it precisely. But as you can see, we can roll straight on up here and into Bowerstone North. So how about we go straight across to seeing how I did that with the controller.
Hello, so you join me over on the Xbox version of Fable running in real time, as you can probably see, and I'm quickly going to show you with the controller in hand how I activate Etemmode. Now, what I tend to do is put my finger over here so I can run forward, like this. I've got my thumb on back so I can access the inventory, and I've got my other thumb on B so I can exit out, meaning I can push back and B quickly while running forward. So, what I'm going to do, activate the trophy. Going to push yes, and now watch what I do. I quickly run forward, spamming the inventory and B at the same time. And it is a little bit harder than it is on PC, but as you can see, it does work fine. It's all about being able to spam back and B at the same time. Now, as I said, you're going to want to do the mini game, as you're going to want to buy as much time as you can. And we're just going to go up here, move the guard out of the way, and I'll show you that this does all work absolutely fine. So let's just move him over into the corner again. There we go. So once again, back and B are the two main things to remember. You want to be going into the inventory and back again. But that does show you how to activate Etemmode on the console version. So we'll just quickly go to Bowerstone North to show you that that has worked and that everything is working as expected. The console versions are alright to do it on, but as I said, as you can see, the menus just aren't as quick as they are on PC, and it does make it a little bit slow. But that seemed to be working absolutely fine, so I'm really happy with that, and we can of course get into Bowerstone North, same as you would expect. So there is the original Xbox version.
Before we finish off this video, I will just touch on that there are alternative variants of the Etemmode, which I did say I would touch briefly on. Etemmode V3, which can be triggered during the prison segment of the game, allows you to enter this state by pushing stay and then constantly reloading as the game leaves the area. This causes the UI to take priority and, as similar, breaks the scripts. V2 can also be achieved by triggering a failed quest scene as you head into a warp zone. This is usually done with the Trader Escort quest.
However, this can be rather hard to achieve, and really these would need their own video on their own to explain a bit better. I will also probably have a follow-up video explaining how the warping aspect works, as this can be utilised just to warp back to areas by breaking the scripts. So I hope this video has been helpful to people to explain what Etemmode is, its most useful instances, and well, how to pull it off. So if you found this video helpful, do let me know. I can always make a few more, and well, it's just as much as I've been able to throw together with what I've been able to find out, so I can't guarantee everything is exact, but this is what my testing lined up with. I spent 45 minutes messing with shovels just to understand how they take priority above other scripts. Oh yes, it was as fun as it sounds. But thank you for watching, and I will see you all when I probably live stream or something. Toodles.